So we will have a few more to check on here. There's no point in checking out any of the others right at the moment. They're not going to change that soon. But I will be traveling back down the hill as soon as probably be down there and wait down there to see if any of the other ones pop up out in the yard around the prancing pony. And not the prancing pony, the ivy bush. And in the meantime, I am going to chat with my friend Alarwin over here. So we'll see you again in just a little bit. Welcome back, everybody. It's shortly after 10 o'clock now. I stand corrected. It is once an hour that they seem to pop up, and it's 3 or 4 every time they come up. So this time around, Dudo is up. We'll grab him. The other 2 or 3 I can't tell you, because none of the ones over here that I need have rings over their heads except for Dudo. So it must be several others. It looks like people are hanging around Postman Grub. I noticed people were hanging around at the sheriff and the storyteller and the child inside. So who knows which group it is. All I know this time around is it seems like Hal Hornblower over here. He seems to be the bottleneck this morning. There have been people on here that said they have been waiting for 3 or 4 hours waiting for him to get a ring over his head. So looks like he's the one that's not clicking in. Last night it was Lobelia, today it's Hal. Let's see what Dudo says.
Stay and have some tea.
Oh, collecting stories about Bilbo Big Shot Baggins, eh? More than enough of those to go around, to be sure. Luckily for you, I happen to know the truth of the matter, that odd disappearing act he pulled at his party. Yes, I do. Big Shot Baggins. Looks like somebody's not happy with old Bilbo.
Hello there.
Now, see, this is what the kind of story I was expecting to hear from Ted Sandyman over there. As I was saying, here's what happened at that birthday party of Bilbo's. You see, when he was on his adventures, he met up with a pile of dwarves. Yes, dwarves! Anybody who knows anything knows that some of them dwarves got mighty peculiar after losing their home in the mountains, far off all that long time ago. Since then, stories say, some of them have been known to be a roaming band doing nearly anything to squeak by, and that would breed loose morals, if you ask me. Assuming they ever had any to start with. Can't ever be sure with people not of the Shire. No, you cannot. I heard that one of these dwarves helped Bilbo dig a complex of tunnels under Bag End, and he simply popped down into these at an opportune moment. Goodness only knows what he's been up to since, but you can bet it's something no respectable hobbit would be caught doing. Alright, so that's Dudo's story. Okay, I guess in another hour we will log in. Hopefully Lotho, Hereward, Holly, and Hal will be up. It would be wonderful it would be all 4 of them. But at least maybe a couple. At least maybe Hal. As I said, he seems to be the big bottleneck this morning. So when we get more stories, we'll get more recording. And we'll see you then. Alrighty folks, it is now 11 o'clock in the morning. We've just logged back in. We've had a few more who have popped up. Hal is still not up. He is still the bottleneck this morning. So we are going on 8 to 9 to 10 to 11, 3 hours without him coming up. But we're going to listen to Holly here. Holly is up.
Stay a moment.
What's that? Oh, you've been wondering where Bilbo is now. Turns out you've asked the right hobbit.
Is there something I can do for you?
I'll have you know that I have it on excellent authority that on his travels Bilbo met with a whopping massive bear. Yes, a proper large bear, not like those little ones that den around in these parts. And what did Bilbo do? No, don't be silly. The bear didn't eat him in one gulp. Imagine the indigestion with all those brass buttons. Now, Bilbo might not be a proper hobbit, but a hobbit still he is. And that means he was carrying any number of delicious things, the like of which that bear never smelled or tasted before. With those, clever Bilbo tamed that bear, indeed he did. And that's not the end, no, not at all. Just getting to the best part, if you believe it. Radagast the Brown, you've heard of him, yes? Keeper of animals, they say, and proper wizard in his own right. Well, Radagast heard about Bilbo and the bear, and he was so impressed that he trained old Bilbo to be a lore master. Neither jesting nor joking am I, that's right. The first hobbit lore master is our Bilbo, and he rides around now on his great bear, accompanying Radagast all over the land. Cool. Alrighty, looks like my great axe just needs reforging. It just maxed out at, well, not maxed out, but hit level 50. So I need to see about reforging that one before it'll go any further. But let's see who else is up. I need Hal, who is not up. Damn you. Let's send a rude his way. Lotho and Hereward. Hereward is the barkeep, so let's go on into the ivy bush again. We can go back over here and talk to him.
Good day. Might I have a word with
You're
you?
collecting stories about Bilbo Baggins. I know a grand one for you. That fellow's been some places and seen some things. Yes, he most certainly has.
A lovely day, isn't it?
I heard that Bilbo got up to a whole mess of adventures after his party, but you're wondering what he's up to now, yes? Well, I'll tell you that I heard that in the inn, he ran into some of those big folk what ride horses all the time. What are they called? The Riders of Ronald? Roger? No, nearly there. Tip of my tongue. Rohan! That's it. I hear he's got himself a war pony and that they taught him to be a proper horse master and all. Rides in the company of, oh, drat it, what is that fella's name? Theon, no, Therum. Ah, that's not it either. Hang on, give it a minute. Theoden, that's the chappie. Our Bilbo's right there, riding in that company of big folk, with banners streaming and horses whinnying, all across those big plains of grass tall enough to hide a hobbit. Or so I hear. All right, so they think he's a rider of Rohan, gallivanting about on either a mighty bear or a war pony, whichever one you want to believe in. And finally, we will head on up the hill, and we are going to check Lotho up here next to Bag End. Now you see what I mean about how it's frustrating. This quest is needlessly frustrating. It's like if you're going to make them only certain ones pop up every hour, that's fine, but make sure that you code it so that it's not the same one being missed every single time. Like I said, with Mindfiend and I last night, it was 5 hours that went by without Lobelia ever popping up until we finally, it got too late for us and we quit. And now it seems to be Hal is the bottleneck this morning. And it's a pain in the butt. You see the people down here that are all complaining about the fact that they haven't gotten Hal yet. Now I can understand this. People, you might say, well, the dwarf race or the hobbit race back during the Summerfest said, you could only do those once an hour, so you had to come back every hour and check. And you never know which hobbit or which dwarf was going to win the race, and that's true. But this isn't a race, and it's not something you repeat. This is a one-time quest. You go through it once, you get the story, you get the reward at the end, which I'll show you if and when we ever complete it, and then that's it. You don't repeat it tomorrow or the next day or anything like that. It's a one-time quest. It's supposed to be fun, and it's been very fun and very entertaining. These stories are awesome. Mindfiend really liked them last night, and I did too, until we had that 3-hour camp here in front of Lobelia. That is pointless. It makes something that's supposed to be fun frustrating and a pointless, needless grind. So I don't know what folks are thinking. I don't know why they put it this way. I think I understood their concept of just a few at a time, but somewhere in there they forgot to code it so that you didn't have one hobbit that just never appeared all frickin' day long. And it turns a what could have been a really fun quest into a silly, frustrating, pointless quest. As you see down here, people are getting more irritated than they are entertaining. This is not entertaining, Turbine. Sitting around waiting is not playing the game. I come here, I do this, and then I go over there and I grind the cram and the ale for the for the Mariners for 50 or 55 minutes, and I come back here to see if anyone's popped. And then when they haven't, I go back over there grind for 50 or 55 minutes. It's pointless, you know. If we were going to do it every day, then yes, I can understand it. But with a one-time quest that's supposed to be something fun for the Hobbit's birthday, it could have been better thought out. Let's see what Lotho has
Why
to
are you
say.
bothering me?
Oh, you're wondering what Mad Baggins has been up to. Ha! He was all cleverness and no sense, if you ask me. I know a right amusing story of what mischief he's gotten himself into, I surely do. Alright, as you can imagine, Lotho's not going to be that nice. Well now, last I heard is that old Baggins had completely squandered his fortune, although I myself never believed it was half as big as folks said, so it wouldn't be that hard to lose now, would it? But as I was saying, with his fortune gone, I hear he went to one of those big folk towns and got himself the finest fake beard that the remainder of his money could buy. Now, don't start laughing yet. You ain't heard the rest of it, and you remember what I said about him being too clever without much sense. Well, fake beard obtained, he went to live with the dwarves. Yes, dwarves. Snuck right in there in their caves and their digging. Dwarves aren't too smart from what I've heard, and these caves got to be mighty shadowy and smoky from the torches, don't you think? Lotho, you do know who you're talking to, don't you? I'm standing right here. Figure with his beard he can hide and work right alongside them, all the while slowly building up a new fortune of pocketed gems and fine metals. I bet he'll be back again, lording his adventures and supposed fortunes over us all once more. Alright, that's got Lotho. And as you see, all we've got left is listen to Hal. So I'm going to run back down the hill, camp out in front of Hal. And whenever he pops, we'll listen to Hal's story. And then complete the quest and get the reward. So I will let you know how long that takes. And we'll see you then. Hey, Hal is up at last. So here we go, 12 noon-ish. And we are going to talk to Hal and find out what his story is.
Might I have a word with you?
Bilbo, eh? Now, folks would tell you any nonsense about what happened to Bilbo at his birthday party, but what's the fun in that? It was all smoke and mirrors anyway, if you ask me. The real story is, and what happened after, which as it happens, I know all about.
Hello?
Now, I keep my ears to the ground, I do, and I can tell you with complete confidence that Bilbo went on back to the elves. He always told such stories about them, the likes of which you wouldn't believe. They say that an elf queen has been teaching him to grow the biggest taters a person could ever hope to see. Leave it to Bilbo to go all the way off to the elves to gain knowledge, just so he can steal the first prize ribbon from Farmer Maggot at one of those farmers' fairs. Some folk would just try harder in their own garden plot, but Bilbo just couldn't never do anything the easy way when he could have an adventure instead. I imagine he'll be back one day to wipe that smug smirk off of Farmer Maggot and break his 60-year winning streak. Okay, so we have got all of the episodes now, and we have gotten a title, Chronicler. The deed has been completed. So we got another bag of Bounder's tokens, and we got the title, Chronicler. And what is this? That's the award of the title. Okay, so at this point, we need to go back up there to Gaffer Gamgee and talk to him and let him know that we have completed the list. So back up to Bagshot Road is. Alright, Mr. Gaffer, I have spoken to everybody. What have you got to tell me now?
Is there something I can do for you?
You managed to speak to all the hobbits on my list then? Wonderful. If that's given what you need, off with you then. Time to take these stories to their final recipient.
Don't walk off. I need to speak with you.
I imagine those stories have someone waiting for them. Off you go now. Alright. So now we need to go back and speak to Bilbo. First, I'm gonna get rid of some of these token bags that's been building up in my inventory. That's 5, that's 10. Very good. A 20, excellent. With the bounder tokens, I'm trying to get up to the point where I'm going to have enough to definitely get the horse. Another 20. And I'd like some of the other items as well. I've handed in a good number of tokens already, probably over 1,000 already, to contribute to the building of the statue. But I've hit the point now. My strategy at this point is to begin saving up the tokens until I can get enough to actually get the horse and the things that I want. And then at that point, I'll start contributing all the spares back to building the statue and trying to get those tiers. Alright, so now we are back off to Rivendell, and we will rejoin you once we talk to Bilbo. We have returned to the last homely house. We need to speak to Bilbo. He is not in his room over there. He is over here in the Hall of Fire. This was the hall you remember during the chapter in the book. Not the Council of Elrond, but the chapter that comes right before the Council of Elrond. I can't remember the name of it. They were throwing a party in Frodo's honor for his reaching Rivendell with the ring, plus the defeat over the Black Riders at the ford of Bruinen. So in here was where Bilbo spent most of his time, sitting and composing poetry and all. And where you can find him spending almost all of his time now. Beautiful place. Absolutely beautiful place. The elves can build. They're in ostentation. They really are. And here is the man himself, Bilbo Baggins. Well, the hobbit himself, sorry. So we speak to Bilbo and tell him about his present.
Hello there.
Why, hello, Glennoran. Many salutations, I'm sure. And what has brought you here to me on this fine day? Pretend it's the 22nd, because that's when his birthday actually is.
Oh, good day.
Stories from the Shire, and all of them about me. I can't wait to hear them. Please tell me your tales. Ho ho, lovely, soaring off through the sky with sparks streaming behind. Delightfully imaginative indeed. And oh dearie me, I'm not sure I can find that sweet child a real dragon, but perhaps I can send her back a plush one in secret. Charming, simply charming. Cool. He definitely, he's on a random timer, or a random bit of text, because when I handed it in on Narlo earlier, he had stories about two different things. One was about him being his reaction to being a masked crusader, and the other one about him being a lore master riding a bear. So it looks like he picks two of them out at random to comment on. Very cool.
Hello there.
Oh dear, oh my, they're even better than I thought. The imaginations of hobbits truly know no bounds. The Lonely Mountain, Holly Hornblower's pies, a Caped Crusader even. Oh gracious and goodness me. You have made this old hobbit very happy, and brought me belly laughs such as I've not known for a while. Elves, for all their charms, have a more esoteric sense of humor. I've missed the stories that hobbits tell. Take this with my thanks. Clearly you have a knack for recording and telling tales. I hope you keep that up during your adventures, as I sense you will have a great many stories to tell. So we're going to get a bag of Bounders token, legendary item experience, and Scribe's book stand. Alright. We're going to finish off the tokens here. 5 tokens. Alright, and I'm going to head back to my house now. The kinship house, my personal house. We're going to map back to the personal house, and I will go in and show you what the Scribe's book stand looks like. back at 6 Chestnut Street, home of Glennoran. Oh, and I promised you while I was at it that I would also give you a better view of the Guardian horse. So let me... Why does that come up every single time? I'm not wanting a screenshot. Just wanting to get rid of the UI. Anyway, that's what the Guardian horse looks like. You see it's barding and everything. Very pretty horse. I like the battle patterns and everything on it, and the protective armor. And as I said, you can see it's got the pouches and the bags on the side. It's got the, I think, a blanket on the back for sleeping. Your shield and your sword. And on this side, a hand axe. So the store horses can be a little expensive. I don't know if and when they have sales on them. I've been keeping my eye on this one for a long time, though. I've been wanting him for about over a year, whenever it was that he arrived, and I missed the ability to get him the first time. They're 1,995 turbine points, and I gotta say I'm happy I have him now. And like all the store horses, they have a plus 68% speed rather than the standard plus 62%, I think, that the regular horses you get from Henstaker Farm, the in-game horses. Okay, so once we get the house loaded up here, there we are. Now this is a small item, so it can fit anywhere that a small item can go. So let's turn on the decoration thing again. And a small can go in anything except for thin, and unfortunately, I think the only spots I have left that are free are thin. Thin furniture. Unfortunately, it can't fit in one of the floor spaces, so I'm gonna have to take something else down to put it down. And I think I will take away one of these snow globes. The elf snow globe will go. See, right click on it, and we are going to trade it out with the scribe's book stand. Okay, and then turn off decoration mode. There you go. That is your gift. That's the scribe's book stand with a nice pretty book on top of it. Now if you are a lore master, not a lore master but a scholar, if one of your professions is scholar, like my character Narwin, she's a scholar. You've seen these before because these are one of the items that you get. You know, as you get the scholar materials, you get the broken urns and the fractured pots and that kind of stuff. You also find these stands scattered about. There are several of them in the ruins over there at the Red Swamp, where you get the scholars' crafting materials out of. So that's what this is. They've reused the graphic, but it is nice, and looks very nice to have it in my house. I'm very happy with it. So there you go. That is the unfortunately rather frustrating birthday celebration for 2013. Like I said, I can understand them. Understand it doesn't have to be a grind. You don't have to sit around in front of them. However, unless you go to the forums, this is out of game information. You know, if Gaffer had said they'll change every hour on the hour, or you had some way of knowing that without having to just sit there long enough to either figure it out or see someone mention it in the chat text down there, where, you know, people have sat there and timed it and found out that they came every hour, then you could log in, log out, kind of like we did with the horse, with the keg races and the hobbit races back during the Summerfest. But once again, you have to question their thinking here. You know, I think it would have been far better if they had to have these things on a timer. It would have been far better to have them on like a 20-minute timer for them to cycle around, so that possibly in an hour, hour and a half, you could get everybody. Because there are people who, you know, Lotro has always been a very casual, friendly game. From the very beginning, it has been a very casual, friendly game. And this isn't very casual, friendly. There are people out there. My brother's one, Dwindon. Y'all have seen me adventuring with Dwindon before. You've seen me playing Minecraft and all with him. You know, he's got a full-time job. He's got a family. He's got a 9-month-old baby at home and animals to take care of and a wife and all this kind of stuff. You know, he's working a 16-hour shift today and tomorrow. He doesn't have time to log on during this and log in for hours and hours and hours and try to get these items for something that isn't a daily quest. I mean, it's done now. I can't come back and do it again tomorrow like I could do with the hobbit races and all, and the dwarf races. I could understand having them on a timer. This just seems to be an unnecessary timer and an unnecessary time waster in what is otherwise a very fun and entertaining quest. You know, it was an awesome quest. It's just the way that it's set up has really detracted from it and made it not nearly as fun as it could have been. Anyway, those are my opinions on it. That's how you do it. Those are all the flavor text and the stories that you get to tell. So I hope you all have enjoyed it. We'll see you next time, and we'll have a regular adventure. Narlo will be back over in Tinadir, and hopefully heading into the tomb of Elendil. So we will see you then. Thanks for watching. Hope you don't have to wait around so long to get all the Hobbit stories, if that's what you're planning on doing. And we'll see you then. Bye-bye.